Some Stoic once said that rivers are easiest to cross at their source. You see, I read about this idea of solving problems while they are still easy in this book, The Daily Stoic. And I thought to myself, hold up, I heard this idea somewhere else before. So I picked up my book called the Tao Te Ching and I looked at it and there it was, the same idea. So you see, I found this idea in different philosophies, both in Stoicism and Taoism, although they have some kind of similarities between them. There's another quote from a Stoic on the same topic. It's from Seneca. He said that there is no vice which lacks a defense, none that at the outset isn't modest and easily intervened, but after this the trouble spreads widely. If you allow it to get started, you won't be able to control when it stops. Every emotion is at first weak, but later it rouses itself and gathers strength as it moves along. It's easier to slow it down than to supplant it, whatever that means. And in Taoist writings, this idea is mentioned in chapter 63 in the Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching. And it reads like this: act by not acting, do by not doing. Enjoy the plain and simple, find the greatness in the small. Take care of difficult problems while they are still easy. Do easy things before they become too hard. Difficult problems are best solved while they are easy. Great projects are best started while they are small. The master never takes on more than she can handle, which means that she leaves nothing undone. When an affirmation is given too lightly, keep your eyes open for trouble ahead. When something seems too easy, difficulty is hiding in the details. The master expects great difficulty, so the task is always easier than planned. And now you might be thinking, what is this guy talking about? Act by not acting and do by not doing, all sorts of, all this weird stuff. Well, you see, this is the idea in Taoism, the idea of Wu way of not forcing, not interfering with the course of things, not interfering in the current events without knowing the subtlety of the relationships that exist and the interdependence of everything with everything else, something like that. See, if you're interested about this, I made a whole video about Wu Wei, and I made a whole series about Taoism. It's so far it's a 4-episode series, so you can check that out if you want to. I really recommend it. Very interesting topic. We go into all sorts of stuff. I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description if you're interested. By the way, my name is Nago Daniel and I make videos about things that I'm interested in, about philosophy, sharing the lessons that I'm learning, the things that I'm reading about, and all sorts of stuff. I also make videos about climbing if you're interested. Great hobby, I love climbing. So I hope you enjoy the things that I'm making. So you see, we find this idea both in Stoicism and both in Taoism. And there are also some other interesting stuff in this chapter, as it says, the master expects great difficulty, so the task is always easier than a plan. You see, expectations. What was I wanted to say? What did I want to say? Expectations. You see, your expectations determine a lot. You see, if you have too high expectations of a vacation, for example, and then it turns out to be okay, then you will feel disappointed by that vacation. But if you have no expectations or low expectations, then you'll have a much better time. But you see the vacation was the same. It was only your expectations about the vacation that changed. And this goes out to every area of your life. But this is not the topic of today's video. I will probably make another video about expectations. So let's get back to today's topic. Now you see, there are plenty of examples of this idea put into practice. For example, when considering your health, you see, taking care of small health issues before they become something serious. You see some kind of back pain or some kind of tooth problem or anything like that, taking care of it while it's still small before it needs surgery or something like that. Or another example is in relationships. You see, taking care of small conflicts and misunderstandings before they build up and before this resentment builds up with the other person that you're in a relationship with. Or this also applies to studying, and you have probably experienced this. You see, not cramming everything into the last 3 or 2 days before the exam and actually learning like a week or 2 weeks before the exam starts. Fixing the problem, solving the problem before it becomes hard. And there are much more examples of this, but you see, the first thing that came to my mind when I read about this idea is bad habits. Because you see, a bad habit is easiest to overcome before it becomes a habit, before you form that habit. Because compare it to how hard it is to overcome habit once you've done it for months or years. But how much easier it is to become aware when you start developing that habit and stop it right there. For example, recently I somewhat developed this habit of scrolling a little bit before going to bed. Because how it all started is that before bed, I would wait for my girlfriend to send me some text, some good night text. And while I was waiting, so I would just, get on my phone, check some stuff, and why not? Let's scroll a little bit. It was a long day, all sorts of excuses, you see. And I got into this habit, you see, that every night, 5 minutes before going to bed, or 5 minutes before shutting off technology, I would scroll a little bit. Get on Instagram a little bit, or TikTok, or no, I don't use TikTok. On Instagram a little bit, scroll a little bit, and I would sometimes even get past my bedtime, scrolling. I would get lost in it. And as you probably know, didn't realize for how long I was actually scrolling. I realized this recently, that this could get pretty bad, you see, if I don't stop. If I keep the momentum up, keep the momentum of scrolling, putting in the hours, putting in the you see, every day, putting it into this bad habit, it could get pretty bad. So then after I realized this, I stopped doing it, and now I don't do this bad habit. But see, this is the key idea. Realizing the bad habit while it is forming or before it is forming. For example, let me give you another example. You see, a couple of days ago, I finished all of my exams at university, good stuff, and I thought to myself, I was talking with one of my friends, and we said, let's play some games. Let's play some video games, and I haven't played them in a long time. And it was great. We played a bunch. We played like 6 hours or 4 hours of video games. We played, first we played Little Company. It was very fun. And then we played Dead by Daylight. Man, I used to play so much of that. I got hours in that game. Many hours. And it was a lot of fun. We had a bunch of fun. But you see, the thing was that the next day, I realized that I had this urge to play. Like, almost after waking up, but a little bit after that, I just wanted to play video games. That's when I realized that, okay. If I don't keep this in check, if I don't do this moderated, this could get out of hand. Because back, like, how many years ago? Back when I was a little bit younger, at like 14, 15, something like that, I used to play a lot of video games all day long. So I already had this history of this habit. So getting back into it wouldn't be really hard for me, you see. So I realized at that point that I have to watch out. If I don't keep myself in check, I could really get back into this habit. So you see, that this is another example of stopping a habit before it becomes a habit. You see, solving a difficult problem while it's still easy. And actually, while I'm drinking coffee here, I have another example with coffee. You see, how long ago? A couple of months ago, I used to drink a cup of coffee every single morning. You see, I at that time I wouldn't really think about that, but after some time, you see, I would start having, another cup of coffee after breakfast. And you see, that it started getting regular. You see, okay, I had a cup of coffee, why not have another one after breakfast? But I realized that, oh no, this could get pretty bad. I was starting to like get dependent on it. You see, when I didn't get it, I was feeling a little bit off. And that was when I realized that when I started to crave the second coffee after breakfast, that okay, I got to do something about this. And that's when I stopped. I limited myself to one cup of coffee every single morning, and now I've limited myself to only a cup of coffee only when I'm recording videos. That's the only time when I drink coffee, because I mean, first of all, if there's some intervals between my coffee consumption, the effects of it will be much better, and I won't build up a tolerance, that high of a tolerance to it. And also, I realized that, just as a side note, that I realized that actually drinking too much coffee might make me a little bit more anxious. I mean, it literally, I feel it that my heart pumps more. I mean, I'm not sure if that's normal or not, but as far as I know, my heart pumps more when I drink coffee, and also I feel this kind of feeling right about here. I don't know, it's kind of this jittery feeling, you see. It's almost anxiety, it's hard to put it into words, but the point is, I'm more calmer when I'm not drinking coffee, and I basically have the same amount of energy when I stop drinking as much coffee, if you're interested in that. So then this is a quick lesson that I wanted to share with you to solve difficult problems before they become difficult. Cross the river at their source instead of when it's like this huge, you see. And you see, we mentioned habits, you see, becoming aware of a habit as it is forming or before it forms. I mean, can you even become aware before it forms? It starts, I'm not even sure, but before it gets too serious, you see. And then at that source, at the source of the habit, when it's forming, gathering the discipline to break it. That's the point, the whole point of this video, the whole idea of this video. And now you see some reflection could help to notice the formation of the habit, like journaling, whatever, talking with other people, discussing with other people, because sometimes you don't see what other people do see. That could also help. And as a side note, you don't really have to listen to me. I mentioned this almost in every single one of my videos, that I'm just sharing what works for me. And you see, everyone's completely different. Things can be looked at from different perspectives. You have a completely different life than mine. So you don't have to listen to me, especially especially don't really listen to people on YouTube and online, because I could lie about all of the stuff that I just told you about. It would all be a lie, and you see, take things with a pinch of salt, and also think for yourself while you're gathering information, listening to people online, because it has a huge influence on you. You might not even notice it, but what you consume has a huge influence on you. So basically, this was the idea, to notice the habits when they are forming, and ask yourself, okay, will I do this habit in a good day? Like, what does a good day look like to me? I mean, for example, with scrolling, I would imagine a good day. How would a good day look like to me? And in that good day, would my last 20 minutes before going to sleep would be scrolling random videos? You see, probably not. So I stopped doing it. And I also find it interesting that this idea is found both in Stoicism and in Taoism. That's just an interesting side note. So thank you for being here, thank you for watching. If you're interested, I do free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email, we'll arrange a video call, and you can talk about anything. So email in the description if you're interested about that. So thank you for being here, thank you for watching this video. Have a great day, and goodbye.